Hello and welcome to January 2025 Subway Update, which is essentially a year in review of 2024. I'm gonna cut the bullshit. The reason this update was so delayed is because I don't like the 211s. But somebody gotta do it, like Kendrick said, so here I am. Eventually the 211s are gonna be so inescapable that I think I will try to like them. I will try. I will genuinely try. And what would you know, it actually worked. Because now, as of November 21st, I actually like the 211s now, and as such, am willing to do this update. With that out of the way, let us begin. We will mainly be recapping all the Subway developments, specifically the R211 developments, between March 2024 and January 2025. R211A's 4085-89 returned to service on April 8th. 4080 to 4084 returned to service on April 11th. These 10 cars were the last R211As to return from the gearbox issue which occurred in October of 2023. That was because 4085-89 was a consist which experienced a leaky gearbox issue in the first place, back in October of 2023. 4150-59, after beginning to burn-in test on March 5th, were sent to Jamaica on March 24th for CBTC testing and operator training. Although they weren't in service yet, they were already equipped with flags. They eventually returned to Pitkin and entered service on the A on May 2nd, 2024. 4180-89 entered service on the A on March 30th, becoming the 13th R211A consist to enter service, and the 15th R211 to do so in general. By the time 4180 to 4189 entered service, the amount of R211As on the A was matched with the amount of R179s on the A. 4205 to 4209 were delivered on March 14th. 4200 to 09 entered service together on April 29th. 4210 to 14 arrived on March 26th, while 4215 to 19 were delivered on April 3rd. Those two sets went together and entered service on April 24th, being the first 4200 consist to enter service. So 4210 to 19 entered service before 4200 to 09. 4220 to 24 was delivered on April 9th, while 4225 to 29 were delivered on April 11th. They were seen testing together on April 23rd, and together they entered service on the A on May 8th. Around the time that 4229 was in service, that's around the time that the R160 trains began to be phased out. 4230 to 34 were delivered on April 17th, then transferred to Pitkin on April 24th. 4235 to 39 were delivered between April 23rd and 24th. 4230 to 39 were at Jamaica for a little while for CBTC testing and operator training. They stayed at Jamaica until July 13th, returned to Pitkin, and then entered service on July 20th on the A, being the second to last 4200 series R211A to enter service. 4240 to 44 were awaiting delivery to New York City on April 29th, while 4245 to 49 were delivered on April 29th. Those two sets entered service on the A on June 12, 2024. 4255 to 59 were delivered to the South Brooklyn Railway on May 21st. They linked up with 4250 to 54 and entered service on the A on June 24th. This happens to be my favorite 4200 series R211A. I caught it on June 27th on the A at Dyckman Street and 190th Street, but sadly my phone had died before I got the chance to get pictures of it at 190th Street. So I went out the very next day looking for it and found it right before I went home. Ironically, me being out on that day also allowed me to catch New Jersey Transit 2006 MCI D4500CL 9025 on its very last ever run in revenue service. 4250 to 59 will always be my GOAT. I don't care what anyone says. 4260 to 4264 were delivered around May 7th and transferred to Pitkin around May 17th or before. 4260 to 69 entered service on the same day as 4240 to 49 on the A line on June 12, 2024. 4270 to 74 was delivered to South Brooklyn Railway as of June 4th, and 4270 to 4279 entered service together on July 4th. 4280 to 84 were delivered on June 11th, while 4285 to 89 were delivered on June 20th. These two sets came together and entered service on the A on July 12th. And then as of August 11th or before, 4280 to 84 was merged with 4290 to 94, which was very interesting because you had the two newest R211A consists that were paired with each other. This is around the time where the A line began to get a little reckless in swapping the R211As with each other. They wouldn't keep them together for too long, they would just merge them with other R211As. 4290 to 94 were delivered on June 19th, while 4295 to 99 were delivered on June 26th to the South Brooklyn Railway. These two sets came together as 4290 to 4299 and entered service on July 23rd. Being the last 4200 series R211A to enter service, with 4230 to 39 being the second to last R211A to enter service due to its time spent at Jamaica. 4290 to 99 was the 24th R211A consist to enter service. There was a notable shift between the 4100s and the 4200s because the 4100s had cove screens on the top of their ceiling area while the 4200s did not. They had static ad displays. Some people liked the 4100s a little more than the 4200s because of that, but we won't be getting into that right now. By the time the 4200s were done, 4350 to 4364 were at Lincoln, Nebraska, while 4365 to 4429 were at Kobe, Japan. 4295 to 99 were delivered to South Brooklyn Railway on June 26th. Directly afterward, 4300 to 4304 were delivered on June 27, 2024. This was a pair which I thankfully got to see after my last day in a special summer program. Ironically, this was the last consist to be delivered to South Brooklyn Railway from June 27th to November 7th, as Kawasaki switched the delivery method from the South Brooklyn Railway to 207th Street due to the former receiving repairs. Initially, the cars would be delivered to South Brooklyn Railway, go to Coney Island for contact shoe installation, then be shifted to Pitkin, burn in, and enter service. This process would take around a month. Not to mention it would allow fans to see the train in its pure state before being defiled by the New York City subway system and the terrible maintenance of Pitkin, of course. With the delivery process shifting to 207th Street between July and November, 2 cars would be delivered via flatbed through New Jersey to 207th Street Yard on Mondays, while the remaining 3 would be delivered on Tuesdays. Then the 5 cars would be assembled at 207th Street Yard on Wednesday, transfer to Coney Island for a third rail shoe installation, do various tests on BMT trackage, transfer to Pitkin, and then burn in and enter service on the A, and sometimes even the C. If the 4300s didn't arrive this way, I would have definitely considered them as goated, as I would have been able to catch them beforehand. However, Zach Transit hates the 4300s for a different reason though. He's based. On August 7th, a mystery R211A was spotted being inducted into the system, which went to Coney Island Yard. This was the replacement car for 4309, which was damaged during the delivery process, likely by a low-clearance object as supposed by MTA T train. On August 21st, another mystery R211A car was spotted moving to 207th Street Yard. That happened to be the original 4309, which after sitting at Coney Island for a little while, alongside the new 4309, from August 7th to August 21st, was sent to 207th Street Yard on August 21st, then back to Kawasaki for repairs or replacement on August 24th. There are 2 potential theories as to what 4309 actually became. It might have become a car in 4335 to 39, or it might have become 4479. Because 4305 to 4309 was not ready for this reason, 4300 to 4304 received 4310 to 14 as a mate instead. They burned and tested together between August 12th and 13th, and entered service on August 22nd, being the first 4300 series R211A to do so. I caught the consist on September 20th. Then R211A 4305-09 was delivered to 207th Street Yard around July 17th, and were present at Coney Island on July 23rd. The replacement 4309 was present in this consist. This marked the first R211A to be delivered directly to 207th Street Yard rather than South Brooklyn. 4310 to 14 and 4319 were all present at 207th Street as of July 30th. 4310 to 14 tested by itself on the Rockaway Flats on August 5th. 4315 to 19 were brought to 207th Street Yard before August 5th, while 4320 to 24 were brought there between August 6th and 8th. 4325 to 29 were delivered to 207th around August 14th to 15th or before. The replacement 4309 came in on August 7th. 4330 to 34 were delivered on August 20th, while 4335 to 39 were not delivered until December 18th to 19th. 4340 to 44 were delivered on September 12th or before, while 4345 to 49 were delivered on September 12th. 4350 to 54 were delivered to 207th Street between September 17th and 19th. 4355 to 59 were delivered between September 23rd and 25th. 4360 to 64 were delivered between October 1st and 3rd. 4365 to 69 were delivered between October 7th and 9th. 4370 to 74 were delivered between October 15th and 16th. 4375 to 79 were delivered to 207th Street as of October 23rd. 4380 to 84 were delivered to 207th Street Yard as of October 30th, and were the last R211A to be delivered solely in this manner, without a complimentary pair also being delivered to South Brooklyn. This was due to South Brooklyn being fully repaired as of November 7th or before. Ever since the R211A's return from their gearbox issue, it seems like Kawasaki has had no trouble sticking to the 5-car per week delivery schedule, at least from January 23rd to December 12th, 2024, where 4165 to 4414 and 4470 to 4479 were delivered. Because of the fact that the R211As are able to be built and assembled at 3 plants, Japan, Yonkers, and Lincoln, Nebraska. On the week of November 17th, Kawasaki began to implement a quicker delivery method, delivering to 207th Street Yard and the South Brooklyn Railway simultaneously. 4395 to 99 arrived to South Brooklyn Railway between November 20th and 21st, while 4470 to 74 were sent to 207th Street Yard on November 20th, and were towed to Coney Island the next day. This marked a new delivery milestone, 10 cars per week, with Kawasaki's Yonkers plant sending sets to 207th Street Yard, while the Lincoln, Nebraska plant would send sets to South Brooklyn. They took a break the next week for obvious reasons. 4300 to 04 and 4310 to 14 were the first 4300 series consist to enter service on the A, doing so on August 22nd. This was the 25th R211A consist to enter service. After that, 4315 to 24 burn-in tested between August 21st and 23rd and enter service on August 31st. 4305 to 09 and 4325 to 29 burn-in tested between September 3rd and 4th and entered service on September 15th. 4330 to 34 and 4340 to 44 burned in on the A between September 10th and 12th and entered service on September 24th, while 4345 to 49 burned in on the west end on September 18th to 20th and on Sea Beach on September 25th, and 4345 to 4354 burned in together as a full-length consist on the A from October 8th to October 10th and entered service on the C on October 21st as set number 29. 4355 to 59 tested in the Rockaway Flats on October 4th. 4355 to 59 and 4360 to 64 came together and entered service on the A on October 23rd. 4365 to 74 entered service on the A on November 6th. 4375 to 84 began burn-in testing on November 20th or before, then entered service on December 9th on the A. This was the last R211 consist delivered solely to 207th Street Yard to enter service. So here is the order of how the 4300s entered service. 4375 to 79 were delivered to 207th Street Yard as of October 23rd. 4375 to 84 began burning in on November 20th or before, while 4385 to 89 tested on Brighton on November 14th. 4385 to 89 was the first R211A set to be delivered to South Brooklyn Railway in months, happening on November 7th. 4390 to 94 was delivered a week after on November 14th. 4385 to 4394 entered service on the A on December 23rd, being the 33rd consist to enter service. 4395 to 99 went to Coney Island Yard on December 6th and were sent to Pitkin Yard on December 7th. 4400 to 4404 were announced to be at Pitkin Yard as of December 15th. They linked up with 4395 to 99 and burn-in tested on the A line on December 20th, and together they entered service on the A on December 31st. This is the newest R211A consist that is in service. However, it is likely that this consist will be mismatched with other pairs soon. So we got to witness all of the 4300s except for 4335 to 39, as well as a 4400 series R211A set, enter service before 2024 concluded. 4405 to 4414 were delivered to South Brooklyn Railway between December 9th and December 12th. Yes, you heard me right. They delivered a whole 10-car train to South Brooklyn, while also delivering 4475 to 79 to 207th Street Yard between December 10th and 11th. 15 to 20 cars in 1 week is abysmal. Wow. 4410-14 tested along West End as of January 1st. 4470-79 were at Coney Island Yard for storage, but have recently done occasional burn-in tests in the Rockaways, on their own in 5-car sets. 4470-74 tested in the Rockaways by itself on January 2nd, then joined 4475-79, and they both tested in the Rockaways on January 3rd, while 4405-09 tested by itself on the same day. An R160A school car was also present in the Rockaways on that day. As it stands now, 4470-79 is slated to become the 35th R211A consist to enter service, and the first full 4400 series train to do so.
I gotta be honest with you, Techno, I don't get why you guys even support these trains. They're just a reskinned version of the R160, if you ask me. Gray-ass American flag having, dirt-covered, screen-lated corporate sellout, cyberpunk wannabe trains. But I'm just a hater, I guess.
Shut up, Chris. I'm just learning to like the R211s, and you hit me with this? R211A's 4080-89 ran on the Rockaway Park shuttle on August 3rd. On August 7, 2024, 4060-4319 entered a shared pool between the A and C line. On September 20th, the C train used R211As for the very first time. The first consist to do so was 4220-24 with 4189-85. The second consist was 4245-49 and 4200-04, which reverted to A trains to Rockaway Park later in the day. However, as more R211As were delivered later on, R211AC trains began to become more common, even using the newer 4300 series consist, like 4345-54, which even entered service on the route. This is very pleasing to witness. Now you see R211AC trains like it's nothing, because it's now a very normal occurrence in the system. On April 19th, an R211A consist 4115-4090 ran on a shuttle between Far Rockaway and Rockaway Park on April 19th. Credit to EA Obster for the pictures. On April 28th, two R211A consists were on the A shuttle from Howard Beach to Far Rockaway. The A had been split in two sections on that day due to track replacement, between 207th Street and Euclid Avenue, and between Howard Beach JFK and Far Rockaway. Option Order 1 R211A shells are already beginning to be built as of June 2024. On October 27, 2024, R211A car bodies were shown under construction at the Kawasaki facility. This confirmed the fact that R211As 4420 and 4443 had been built, and that Option Order R211A 3415 had been built, confirming that the Option Order 1 R211As will be numbered between 3400 and 4039 to make up 640 cars. Also, by the looks of it, it looks like whatever R211A is behind 3415, maybe 4420, is Kawasaki's 3000th rail car. That's pretty cool. 4422 and 4444 were spotted on December 23rd. On October 9th, R211A's 4475-79 were announced to be built. 4479 was Kawasaki's 5000th rail car to be built, and as such, a great celebration was held for it. 4494 was shifted to Yonkers on November 1st, 4484 was shifted there on November 2nd, 4479 was sent there on September 17th, while 4475-78 joined it on November 25th or before. 4470-73 were sent there between September 10th and 18th. That consist was later shifted to 207th Street Yard. But before November 20th, 4470-4499 were all present at Kawasaki's Yonkers facility. As of December 12th, R211As 4480-4499 are all at Yonkers. All remaining base order R211As have been built as of October 9th or before, with option order units even being built now. The MTA wants all of the R211A base order to be on property by February of 2025. Summarizing the R211 delivery: 365 R211A cars, 20 R211T cars, and 10 R211S cars have all been delivered to MTA property. The R211A is now the most plenteous fleet at Pitkin. As indicated by NY Subway Life, you have an over 60% chance of catching an R211A on the A, especially since all these R179s are now migrating to Jamaica. 34 R211A consists are now in service on the A and C lines, with 37 R211s being in service in general. Up to 83% of the base order is now here. That's quite impressive. Kawasaki is conducting this delivery quite well, giving us all these 4200s, 4300s, and even 4400s. Amazing. So many R211As were delivered this year. that I almost lost track and gave up on the subway updates in general. We have received a firestorm of R211As. And just as a marker, when 4275 to 79 were delivered, that marked the halfway point in the base order R211A delivery. We are long past that point now. They want the order done by February 2025, so it is likely that all of the base order R211As will be in service by April. As of February 11, 2024, more R211As were on property than 5-car R179s. 75 base order R211As remain to be delivered as of January 2, 2025. On December 16, 2024, R211 Option Order 2 was confirmed. The purchase of this order was not affected by congestion pricing. This order was reduced by 2 cars, from 437 to 435 cars. This reduction occurred because the 32 cars that were meant to be arranged in 8 4-car sets, or 4 8-car trains, were eliminated from the order. I'm glad the MTA realized that we don't need any more 4-car trains in the system. 355 cars were ordered to be delivered in 5-car sets, which will total 71 5-car sets, or 35.5 10-car trains. That can easily be the entire fleet of an entire train line, as it's the same amount of trains that the D line uses. Additionally, 80 hardshell R211T cars will be purchased. It seems like R211T hardshell tester 4040 to 4049 was the most successful R211T iteration. So in November 2022, R211A Option Order 1 for 640 cars was purchased for $1.8 billion. And on December 16, 2024, R211 Option Order 2 was purchased for $1.3 billion, as a mixture of R211A and R211T cars. The order is expected to range from 4,500 to 4,934. These cars are slated to replace the remaining R46s that will be left at Coney Island, and to jumpstart the retirement process of the R68 and R68A subway cars there. Whatever R68s and R68As are not handled by R211 Option Order 2 will be handled by the 355 car order of R268s. It is worth noting that the R211A portion of Option Order 2 and the R268 order are equal allotments, each promising 355 cars to the MTA's fleet. These R211s will also be CBTC equipped and will have cameras built in just like the base order. With that, all 1,610 R211 cars have now been ordered, and therefore we will be locked in with the R211 delivery for the remainder of the 2020s. For this purpose, as you may be able to tell, starting with the delivery of the 4200s, the R211As began to grow on me. On November 21st, 2024, I started liking R211As again, and mustered enough strength to resume production on this video. So, in total, we have ordered 440 base order cars for the A and C lines, 75 R211Ss for Staten Island, 20 R211T tester cars, 640 Option Order 1 R211A cars, 355 Option Order 2 R211A cars, and 80 Option Order 2 R211T production models, hard shells. Links to these deliveries will be posted in the description and in the pinned comment. Fun fact, over 40% of the MTA's current railcar fleet was built by Kawasaki. In addition, it was also announced that R211Ts will be transferred to Jamaica Yard for the G-Train service in the first quarter of 2025. So, the G-Train could get up to 4 5-car R211T consists. But only 2 5-car R211Ts, or 10 cars, are actually promised for the G as of now. Maybe the other 10 cars will continue to serve on the C or be used for training duty. Open gangway G trains sound quite exciting. Last but not least, Culver CBTC is almost completed. 8th Avenue CBTC is slated to be completed soon, and Fulton Street and Liberty Avenue CBTC are in the works, according to MTA President Demetrius Critchlow's presentation to the MTA board on December 16, 2024. Also, credit to Brian Mercy 1022 for the abbreviated notations. 4305 to 4309 took a brief trip to East New York between December 4th and December 9th for wheel truing, due to it obtaining flat wheels when its emergency brakes were activated. This was during the same time period that R160B Siemens 9018 to 22 was also sent to East New York for the same reason. 8668 to 72 were sent there between November 22nd and December 8th, likely for the same reason as well. Quite cool seeing 5-car sets traverse the Nassau line. On May 30th, 2024, there was a loss of power in the Rockaways. On December 21st, there was a mechanical problem with the South Channel drawbridge. Also, it stayed open on December 23rd for a little while. Between January 20th, 2025 and May 2025, there will be no A-train service between Howard Beach and the Rockaways. The A-train will only run between Inwood 207th Street and Lefferts Boulevard or Howard Beach, while the Rockaway Park Shuttle will once again transform into the H-train, running from Far Rockaway to Rockaway Park. That service will be fare-free. There will be no train service between Howard Beach and Broad Channel, essentially closing down the Rockaway Flats for repairs. Service to the Rockaways will be substituted by 2 shuttle buses, the Q97 Express from Howard Beach to Far Rockaway, and the Q109 Local from Howard Beach to Beach 67th Street via the Cross Bay Bridge, a substitute for riding down the Rockaway Flats, which will parallel the Q53 Select Bus Services route pattern. The Q97 will be launched 3 days before the Q109. The Q121 will have the same route as the Q98, but will take a left at Far Rockaway. Also, some QM15 trips will be extended to Arvine Beach 54th Street, and peak trips will be added to the QM16 and QM17. And the New York City Ferry from Pier 11 will be free. This will resemble a very similar service pattern as the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. To ease the burden caused by this, the Long Island Railroad will be reducing their fares to $2.75 for people that buy tickets for Far Rockaway trains at Penn Station, Grand Central, Atlantic Terminal, and Far Rockaway. Maybe Jamaica? This plan has been in the works since August 29, 2023, and training for this service began as early as September 7, 2024. Throughout this year, R44s 395, 401, 404, and 452 were retired, with 401 and 452 being shipped away. Those cars were waiting for death even before the R211Ss arrived. 422 and 466 were also retired. 55 R44 cars remain in service at Staten Island. The primary R211S consists 100 to 104, chilled at St. George throughout various points in 2024. Meanwhile, stations throughout Staten Island were prepped up with special car markers on March 11, 2024, which displayed C1 through C5 and R1 through R5 markings. Up to R211S 174 have been built as of December 23rd. 110 to 174, 13 5-car trains. This is confirmed by the sighting of R211S 169 in Nebraska by Sir Knight Photography, with 120 to 124 and 135 to 154 being at Yonkers as of November 26th. However, 110 to 119 should also be there, due to R211S's 115 to 116 and other units being reported at Yonkers on April 28th. As of December 18, 2024, it is said that R211S's 110 to 114 are being prepped up for delivery to Clifton. The Pilot R211S consists 100 to 104, entered service on October 8, 2024 at 10:36 a.m. from St. George Track 5 with great fanfare. The next day, October 9th, it lost power at St. George, causing it to be taken out of service and to have to restart the 30-day test. R211S 105 tested on September 17th up to October 5th. 100 to 104 was taken out of service on October 26th due to communication issues. The R211S experienced cab signaling issues as well as ATC issues, and was therefore grounded on November 12th. It returned to service on November 23rd to restart its 30-day test from scratch. It was said that it had passed its 30-day test on December 16th, so maybe the 30-day test occurred a little before these parameters, and that they were still counting the days, which is kind of weird. Ironically, although I was more reluctant towards the idea of new techs on Staten Island, the R211Ss grew on me a lot quicker than the R211As. I accepted them almost instantly, within less than a week of them entering service, whereas it took me over 3 years to fully accept the R211As. Thank you for tuning in to the year of 2024 R211 recap, from March 2024 to January 2025. The R211s have definitely made a tremendous impact on the system, and they're just getting started. I mean, they even changed my mind on them, and they even have a MuniPals iteration of them as of August 6, 2024. Credit to all the people who contributed in some way, shape, or form to the making of this video. Your hard work and effort is definitely appreciated. Keep in mind that this is a prelude to the subway update. Thank you for tuning in to the R211 status of Next Stop News. Please subscribe, stay blessed, stay healthy, stay hype, and thank you for riding with Next Stop News.